Who am I? That's so interesting. I'm going to tell you a story. Can I tell you a story? When I think of who I am, the first thing I always think of is that I come from 7 girls. Who am I? I'm Amanda. A bunch of people started because I wanted to do certain things and they weren't happening. So I said, well, then I'm just going to do them. How was my childhood? I came from a very religious family. In the 70s, the Catholic Church had what was called a charismatic renewal. So my childhood was kind of difficult for me emotionally because there was all this not on the earth stuff happening. And that followed me for a long time. And I've had to really work at that, at getting over the fears that brought to me. And so I really define myself with that I am a spiritual person, but I've really had to find something that I'm comfortable with. So I went to school, I got a Bachelor of Fine Arts. I'm a director and choreographer. And I did that professionally in Montreal for 10 years. In theater, it's all ego. And I got to a point where I wasn't able to care about their egos. So I left theater and I became a massage therapist. I did that for some years. And then I decided that I wanted to do something else. And so I got a job in Scotland. We started a leadership training center for homeless youth. And I got my master's in conflict analysis. My specialization is environmental conflict. But I never got a job in that because environmental conflict happens between neighbors and nations and so on. And the government usually looks at that and they always put a scientist in, thinking that it's science related, not emotional or needs or so on. So I got my master's, and with that I went to Botswana and I ran a women's trust where we helped women, we gave them money and helped them start small businesses so that they could be independent. Because in Botswana, it's still like a woman can't get a bank account without a man signing for it. It's still like that. But when I came back, my last career was in federal government. And I was a project manager for international affairs, but natural resources. So we worked in India, we worked in Africa. And so all the work I've ever done has always been about empowering other people. Even though I was going through all this turmoil with what was going on, it also taught me the importance of caring for other people. My mother would bring strangers home, you know, and have them eat with us. And she really taught me that what was important is not anything extraneous to a person, but who that person is. I turned 60, right? I've been thinking about it because I only have like 20 years left, right? I have to do something with those 20 years. That's really important. It's all I have left, right? So I kept thinking to myself, okay, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with this? And basically, I've just decided I need to have a good time while also providing opportunity for other people to have a good time. the country, you don't find many art appreciators in the way that you do in the city. And maybe it has to do with money. It might have to do with money. Not that people in the country don't have money, but their priorities are definitely different out here. I like doing art out here because I really just do it for me. And I think in the city it would be different. I think I'd be more inclined to making sure that I was known as an artist, whereas here I don't feel a need for that. It wasn't an organization when I started it. I just had this idea to do a Christmas show. And I just went and asked people, will you do this with me? And when it was time to put it on, people were like, well, who are you? And I was like, well, we're just a bunch of people, right? So that's what I ended up calling the organization, is a bunch of people. And I think it makes a huge difference to have that kind of name, because people feel very comfortable coming and being a part of it, because they're not expected to have any experience. The main thing of what we do is we do predominantly writing and music. The main reason for doing it is to have a good time and to make money for charity. When you retire and so on, there's a lot of isolation. No matter how many friends you have, no matter how much experience you have. And so with the choir, we're going to go out and do free concerts for like seniors' homes and various organizations to help get rid of that isolation. And it's also for the people in it. It helps get rid of that isolation. I don't think time is the key. Desire, like you said, passion. I think that we're ultimately responsible for ourselves. And if we want to be happy, then we have to do the things that make us happy and find time to do those. We all have to work for a living. Some people are lucky and get to do things they love. But if you're not doing something you love, then you have to take care of yourself and make sure you have the time to do that. I know it's harder for like mothers and when you have children, and because there's so many different things that you have to do. But I think if we have to love ourselves too, and make time for the things that make you feel beautiful. When you're young, you need to find people who are happy for you to do things that make you happy. I think that's one of the most important things as you grow. I have friends that I've had for 40 years. The people that I work with now, the people in a bunch of people, arts and events, Rick, Sandra, Harmony, MT, all of these people, Tony, there's so many. But they're the people I feel who are the foundation of my life here. All of these people bring to me challenges. For me, my friendships need to do that. They need to challenge me to be more than who I am. But they also need to accept who I am. And that's why when I was talking about before that it took 9 years for me to find community when we moved here. And I tried lots of different things. And it wasn't until I found this group, the Dundas County Players, that I actually feel community. And it's because they challenge me and because they accept me. I love change. A lot of people don't like change. I crave change. And because of that, it's helped. Because I change my environment. If I'm not happy, I just change it. With a bunch of people, because we raise money, it's clear how it helps the community. But let's say we didn't raise money. How would it still help the community? It gives them entertainment, which allows you to step outside of who you are and let go of that and live vicariously in something else. I think that process of being able to do that is important. Not always inside. I think if it's about love, it's about self-love. It's not about love for anything else. It's nurturing you. I think that if we are always looking for what somebody can give me, we always feel like we need something. As soon as you're able to say, no, I want to give, it's because you feel you have an abundance. And that you can share because of that. I have an abundance, for sure. It's about beauty. When you're driving in the country out here, as we were coming from Montreal, the main thing was space. How much space you have, how green it is. You know, there's a lot of farming, right? And they're growing food. It's all about nurturing. And so I think that's part of why they call it God's country. Cornwall, SDNG area. There's some definitely backwards thinking people, you know, and I've encountered those too. But for the most part, I've encountered people who are full of life, who just, that's what it's all about. It's just living and living well. They're trotters. It's the kind, they're a standard bred, is the name of the breed. And they're used for trotting or pacing. So they had a little cart, the riders in the cart. So Patrick had to teach him how to be ridden. But he's only been successful with Jacob, not Capricorn.
The rebel one.
Yeah, he's the rebel, yes.
Oh, we always need rebels.
We do need rebels. Be here now, otherwise you get stuck in the past. And you live the traumas that you had, you live over and over and over again. And they're not doing those things to you anymore. It's you doing it to you now. And I think we need to learn that our past trauma only continues if we allow it to continue. Because I'm moving towards the last phase of my life, these are the things you start to think about. Do you have any regrets? I don't. I don't have any regrets. I've had a much better life than I ever thought I would. And even the things that did happen that were not necessarily positive have really become a positive aspect of my life. There was a time where I couldn't even look at people in the face because I was ashamed of my life from trauma, you know? But that trauma wasn't even happening to me anymore. I'm only ever gonna walk away with my memories. And I don't expect other people to have memories of me, but I hope if they do, that it's something that we did that was fun. And I've pictured turning 60 as like a plant. You grow, and it only flowers before it dies. So I'm in my blossoming stage. Kindness. I would have said love, except it's not love. You can love things without kindness. You have to be kind.